Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders forced to respond after several women who worked on his 2016 campaign have come forward to the New York Times, alleging that they had experienced sexual harassment, pay disparities, and targeted disrespect by other campaign members that was not adequately addressed. So here is what Senator Sanders told CNN's Anderson Cooper.
So I certainly apologize to any woman who felt that she was not treated appropriately. And of course, if I run, we will do better next time.
And just to be clear, you seem to indicate that you did not know at the time about the allegations. Is that correct?
Yes, I was a little bit busy running around the country trying to make the case.
Alice Stewart is a Republican strategist and a former Ted Cruz communications director. Sally Kohn is a progressive columnist, an activist, and the author of The Opposite of Hate. Ladies, Happy New Year. Let's get right into this. Senator Sanders' response to Anderson. And Sally, just starting with you, we had many a conversation way back in, a couple years ago. You were feeling the burn, I remember, during the primaries. But listening to his response to Anderson, I was busy running around the country. What did you make of that?
There's like no way to sugarcoat this. That was one of the worst apologies and excuses I've ever heard. And honestly, as a one-time Bernie Sanders supporter, I'm mortified and embarrassed. I mean, first of all, anyone who's gone through like rudimentary therapy knows that the way to apologize is not to say, I'm sorry if you felt that maybe you were, like, there's that part of it. But also, if you're going to be a leader, you're accountable for the entire supply chain of your operation. Certainly, if you want to be president, you're held accountable for everything that's happening in the vastness of the federal government. Well, then you're going to easily be held accountable for what's happening in your campaign. And this just goes to this ongoing lack of accountability that frankly is what tarnished his campaign when it came to not only sexual harassment inside, but also the sort of Bernie bro culture on the outside. And it's sad.
On the Bernie bro culture, Alice, I mean, besides the stunning sexual harassment claims, there are also these allegations of serious pay disparity. In one case, there was a female staffer who was allegedly making less than half of what a male staffer was originally supposed to report to her, what was making, and just given what he was espousing as a candidate, what he espouses as a senator, how do you see it?
It's, first of all, sexual harassment and pay disparity, inequality in the workforce shouldn't be tolerated in any way, shape, or form, either in the public or the private sector, and this shouldn't be tolerated. And look, I've been on campaigns as his, where it starts with 3 people and blows up to a couple hundred, and the principal or the candidate, I can understand how he was not made aware of this or didn't know about it. But that being said, now that he does know about it, the apology could and should have been much more heartfelt, and efforts to address it should be more at the forefront. My understanding that these issues had been addressed and have been discussed, and certainly apologies to the people involved. But that being said, he should offer much more of an apology. The silence actually of the Time's Up and the Me Too movement is deafening with regard to this. I'm expecting them to get in any time now, because we're in a point now where when these things are brought to the forefront and are brought to attention of people, they certainly should be addressed. But I am encouraged that he did take steps on his next campaign, on his last campaign in the midterms, to really address that and put principles and practices in place for women to come out.
Whether you're a D or you're an R, same goes for both parties, for both cases.